It starts with a Tuesday night in the kitchen. Someone drops a dish or lets out one heavy sigh, and suddenly the room feels high stakes. The posture goes rigid. The air gets thin. Standard advice says this is the time for I statements and active listening. But when you apply logic, the tension only climbs. Your partner either escalates or goes silent. The brain regions required to process language and empathy have literally lost power. The neural circuits for nuance and reasoning are no longer receiving the blood flow or electrical activity they need to function. This is a lid flip. The prefrontal cortex, the logical control center, severs its connection to the deeper survival centers. Once that link is broken, the person in front of you is no longer capable of rational thought. Every word is now processed by an ancient survival center that only understands threat and defense. Fights begin about half a second before the first word is ever spoken. It starts with a microscopic cue, eyes darting away, or a sharp exhale. The nervous system uses a subconscious scanning process called neuroception. It evaluates the environment for danger faster than the conscious mind can perceive it. If the body is primed by past wounds, it pattern matches a distracted glance against old memories of abandonment. The brain interprets a neutral facial shift as a literal survival threat. The body reacts to a false alarm with the same intensity it would use for a genuine predator. The nervous system functions like an anticipation machine. It pattern matches the current moment against every relational experience you've ever survived, starting in infancy, to determine the safest possible defense strategy. For some, safety lies in mobilization. The seeker strategy activates the sympathetic nervous system to force a connection. The racing heart and loud voice are biological attempts to ensure the partner cannot walk away, as the body equates proximity with survival. For others, the system calculates that connection is dangerous or futile. The bunker strategy triggers a dorsal vagal shutdown, causing the person to collapse into silence. The nervous system determines that the only way to endure the storm is to wait it out in a state of internal freeze. When these two states meet, they create an escalating loop. The seeker's pursuit triggers the bunker's withdrawal, which the seeker then reads as further abandonment, driving both bodies deeper into alarm. Two logical nervous systems are simply trying to survive a threat they believe the other person represents. During a fight, the bunker can sit perfectly still. Their face is a mask, completely devoid of expression even as their partner's volume rises. It is easy to label this silence as coldness or indifference. Attachment research tells a different story. While the top line representing outward display remains flat, the bottom graph shows internal cortisol levels and heart rates spiking aggressively. The physiological metrics of the calm partner match the panic levels of the partner who is screaming. This silence is a high-energy biological effort. The body is using massive resources to suppress the signal of its own overwhelming internal stress. De-escalating this spiral requires the brain to return to a state of structural integration. This occurs when the logical prefrontal cortex regains its connection to the emotional limbic system, allowing for internal communication between these two regions. Once integrated, the cortex can send inhibitory signals down to the fear center. This releases GABA, a neurotransmitter that acts as a chemical brake on the overactive amygdala. This chemical braking system is what creates response flexibility, the ability to pause and evaluate the moment rather than reacting blindly to the alarm. Relationship capacity is the byproduct of a structurally integrated brain that can maintain this internal balance under pressure. Re-establishing that integration requires a physiological intervention. By extending the exhale, we manually slow the heart rate and activate the vagal brake, triggering the chemical release needed to calm the fear center. This reset brings the social engagement system online. It is a biological circuit that softens the eyes and returns melody to the voice. The physiological shift reaches as far as the middle ear. The tiny muscles there literally retune themselves to listen for the frequency of human speech, rather than the low-frequency rumbles of a threat. This circuitry of connection is only accessible when the nervous system renders a verdict of absolute safety. Regulating the body's alarm is a biological requirement for connection. Receptivity depends entirely on whether the nervous system has determined it is safe to listen.